Good evening, everyone, and welcome back. Hope you guys are doing just marvelous. Bitcoin's price has not moved at all. Today is MLK Day. That's what I forgot to put in the title. You know what? Let me go ahead and fix that. How do I edit stream? POV, you can't edit stream. It's okay, I'll edit it in post. It's fine. It's not even that important anyway. I'm kidding. Martin Luther King was very important. Or dreaming or something. So we're going to talk about Bitcoin today. We're going to talk about the Greenland, more tariffs, or maybe negotiations. We'll see what's going to happen there. Supreme Court tariff decision is tomorrow, according to my calendar. Indeed. That's going to be important. It's going to determine whether or not we crash or we crash. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Unless it gets delayed, markets are going to crash. So don't get your hopes up too high. And as we speak, we're currently on our way down. Awesome. I'm losing a whopping 11 cents since my trade was opened yesterday when I opened that one live for you guys. And that's just a bit of a little bait on the market because at the end of the day, it is me versus the markets. So this is the bait that I put it. I'm like, I opened a long position. So that way I trick the market into going massively negative against me. And then I actually put in my real amount of position in there. And if it goes up, cool, I make a little bit of money. Who cares? The thing is, you got to actually have good talent and time it properly. I'm still going to be doing the thing with Bitcoin where I just DCA 3x leverage. And it should work. It has mostly worked a large percent of the time when I have tried to do it. So I don't think this time will be any different. Last time why I got liquidated, it was because I went 5x leverage. Big mistake. All you need is a 20% drop on Bitcoin, and we had a 30% drop. I could have survived it. Absolutely. I had a $109,000 entry price, meaning that I would have been liquidated at 72K. We only dropped to 80K. I would have been perfectly fine. We would have survived. But I let greed take over the best of me at a very crucial time when... Why did we even drop? Oh yeah, October 10, tariffs. Exactly the thing that we will be discussing tomorrow. Not we, by the way. I will not be streaming tomorrow. I will be busy, but... So that's all on you guys, okay? You're going to have to manage the markets without... without I, so good luck with it. Markets will open again, so we'll get our normal volatility. I'm sure we'll have a nice reaction to the tariffs that are being imposed. I don't even think they got imposed yet. I thought they were taking effect immediately, last I checked. But it seems like not. It seems like they were looking for diplomacy first, then you get the 10% tariff for all European countries, not all, most of them, and then you get the 25% increase if there's no resolution by, what was it, June 1st? I hope that was it. So that's the situation currently, and why markets are on their way down, which is just marvelous because it makes no sense. So downtrend confirmed for Bitcoin. Super trend is on its way down still. Good. Let it continue its way down. The faster, or the lower it goes, the faster we can get out of this downtrend and continue higher. What downtrend are we looking at for now? I mean, it's going to be pretty ugly to draw, but this is the downtrend, I guess, on Bitcoin currently. I mentioned before we were not in a downtrend anymore. It seems like this is going to be the downtrend for now. How low can we go? I've talked about 86,000 and then 82,000 as well. That is in a worst case scenario though, so I don't really think that is going to happen. There is no real reason for that to happen. But this is the downtrend that we see nonetheless. So enjoy it while you can. Take advantage of it. DCA is what I would suggest. Not suggest. This is not financial advice. But that's what I will be doing. So I don't know. Whether you follow for the journey or to watch me lose money live, this is the plan. Okay. Next entry point I plan on doing is anything below 90,000. Yes. Yeah. That should take us to maybe breaking this uptrend line or maybe a perfect buy at these prices. That's kind of the way I envision it. So I will be dropping a large chunk of money over here If we do hit 89,000, whatever, I will be putting money in there. If it does continue dropping, of course, we're looking at 86,000 because a lot of people will be liquidated. A lot of over leveraging is still a thing. And of course, the fear will start kicking back into the markets, and that usually kicks in pretty quick and pretty harsh. So don't expect too much with the altcoins either. The only thing that can save us, like I said, is delaying this Supreme Court tariff decision that is happening tomorrow. Will Trump's tariffs be legal or illegal? We kind of discussed it in yesterday's stream. A quick rundown is, if the tariffs are illegal, we have to refund every country at least $200 billion in total. We would lose a lot of investment because now these other companies that were coming to the United States, making jobs, making their factories over here, creating jobs for Americans, improving the economy, helping the GDP grow. Now these people will be like, hey, you know what? Actually, it's pretty expensive. So we're going to go back to, I don't know, India or China or wherever we had our previous factories or whatever we were manufacturing before. So investment will leave the country. You're not getting a $2,000 dividend check anymore close to midterm so that it's fresh in your memory to remember to vote Republican. And yeah, it's not going to be good. It would be bad for the U.S. economy. No good, right? We want U.S. economy to be one of the top at least, if not the top. And then if the Supreme Court tariffs are legal, well, we're already seeing them as if they are legal. Anytime a tariff headline gets announced, you get an October 10 type situation. You get an April 7 type situation. You get literally yesterday type situation. I'll talk about the liquidation levels after this, but yeah, this is the kind of stuff you notice when Trump announces tariffs. We get a big crash. So people want to avoid the headline and the headache, but overall I'd say it's a necessary pain to go through because ultimately, look at the great stuff we're getting from tariffs. We're talking about maybe abolishing income tax by using tariff revenue, paying off the US debt with tariff revenue, maybe even adding to the Bitcoin strategic reserve at some point in the future if it is sustainable, right? Otherwise, yeah, none of that stuff is going to happen. How will the United States generate money? I'm sure they still do because we still export to a lot of countries. We still do a lot of trade. And I'm sure there will still be tariffs, but it's not going to be to Trump's liking, and he can't use them to his advantage to stop wars, get countries to come to the table, negotiate, bring investment into the country, make it the hottest market in the world. So that kind of stuff is going to be impactful. Things to pay attention to. Moving on from tariffs, gosh, who cares about that? We're talking about crypto, am I right? That has nothing to do with tariffs. So Bitcoin's at $92,408, and we're in a downtrend. I think I already explained that. Fair enough. Moving lower. Ethereum, same deal. Downtrend confirmed. 3,184 is the current price. Can we take a moment to clown on Mr. 276 IQ, man? Do I even have it? I do have it. Monday is about to be insane. It's okay, I didn't check the calendar either. I didn't know it was going to be MLK Day and that markets would be closed. So we got literally zero volatility on every coin ever in existence. So, and now he's saying bottom confirmed, we move up. My analysis is different from this. And everybody's clowning him in the comments like, dude, are you sure? Dude, what was the big news? Your IQ is definitely not 276, you're a joke, la la la. Which I agree with. I mean, sure, you can have 276 IQ when it comes to quite literally anything else. But, I mean, with crypto, my guy, I think he needs to stay out of it a little bit. Just a little bit. It's nice and all that he's, you know, into Bitcoin and he's sold all his possessions to go all into Bitcoin. Bit risky, but hey, we like risk takers. Otherwise, Elon Musk wouldn't exist. Am I right? So, hey, it's fine. But now he's bold posting a little too much. It's like he wants to make himself richer desperately, using his IQ as an excuse or as like a, look guys, you got to trust what I say and buy when I tell you to because I'm smarter than you on paper. Okay, pal. Take a crash course on cryptocurrency. I don't know. Here's the numbers. $100 billion wiped out from the crypto market cap in the past 24 hours. This is not in terms of liquidation. This is just a total crypto market cap sell-off. Nasty day yesterday. And the only thing that kind of survived was Monero. Look at that. Up 7%. That was yesterday, though. Like I said, January 19. Okay, that was today. 12 a.m. Dude, that was midnight. Nobody was awake at that time. So there you go. Monero doing great. Let's go ahead and talk about it. 0% movement today, but this was the good rise that it was having. 20% rise from the lowest to top in a matter of a couple of hours. Pretty impressive. I like Monero's volatility here. I did mention dude, I was sleeping. When did this happen? Okay, 7 p.m. You know, I missed it. I missed the entry. It's fine. Monero's current price is $607.20. Still maintaining its uptrend. I don't know. If I buy up here and then we wait a couple months and then we zoom out, it's going to look like I just bought the exact top and then I'm just holding this darn coin until it decays over time. I don't know. I'll stay out of it for now. General market seems to be heading in a downtrend for now. So I'm just going to stick with Bitcoin, and with altcoins, I would actually be more willing to short these darn altcoins at this point if Bitcoin does not flip its trend anytime soon. Shorting just to take profits on the short positions and then dump it all into Bitcoin, because on altcoin, I can pretty much guarantee you 60% of the time, I'm not going to say 100% of the time, so 60% of the time it will have a good crash, and when it does, the crash is pretty magnificent on altcoins. You can take advantage of that volatility. Only very rarely on a good day for Bitcoin is when the altcoins will rise as well with Bitcoin and even double or triple that or quadruple that. We've seen crazy moves in altcoins. It's undeniable. Are a lot of them oversold at this point? Yes. Can they go much lower? Probably not. Mainly focus on the bad projects is what I would say if you really want to start shorting these. I don't know. I don't want to start giving out names. Polkadot, Polygon, Shiba Inu. What else is terribly inflationary? Yeah, so those are the options, right? Take profits from those and use those profits to buy Bitcoin. That is kind of my foreseeable future plan. I don't know how else to put it. But these projects that you have on this list here, I do kind of like them. I have faith in them. Even if it's faith the size of a mustard seed, there's still faith. So they're projects I've looked into and studied. Could potentially have good moves in the future, very far future, but for the time being, while Bitcoin is uncertain and, you know, not rising, doing the thing where it just chops sideways, then yeah, don't expect too much of a big move from alts either. Moving on to Solana, downtrend. I'm not going to say where these downtrends invalidate yet because super trends are still on their way down. Even the fact that we're getting no volatility today, prices are still, you know, expected to move lower, and super trend is kind of going lower with that to kind of invalidate its downtrend, hopefully as soon as possible, as I mentioned, because don't get me wrong, I do want everything to just go up and rise forever. That would just be quite fantastic, but we got to be realistic about the times that we're in right now, and it looks like we're trying to bomb Iran. It looks like we're trying to, I don't know what's going on with Supreme Court tariffs, what's going on with Greenland, all this stuff. So we'll stay relaxed in that sense for the time being. Solana's current price $133.45. Support level is at 134 it. Hello, Dean. Thank you. Hope you are also having an awesome night, my friend. Okay, Sui, $1.55 down 2%. Great. Keep dropping. 150 is the next support level for Sui. Downtrend confirmed on it as well. Monero is the only thing with an uptrend, which we talked about. Hyperliquid is, yeah, it's basically about to, or if not already lost, its uptrend. So downtrend confirmed for Hyperliquid too, $23.60. We're heading to $22.75. That's the lowest we hit, $22.76 on Sunday dump. Fill up the CME gap. Is there even a CME gap to fill? I'm sure there is on Bitcoin. There must be. I've not even looked at that, honestly. We're also talking about 24/7 trading soon with the New York Stock Exchange, and same with CME futures. Let's not forget that. No, of course. It opened Sunday evening and then the Sunday night crash happened. So there is no true CME gap. There kind of is one, I guess you could say, at 95,300 to 95,600. I guess that's a CME gap. Okay, fine. I'll give you that. Also, we can get rid of this. That's already filled. So this is where market closed. This is where market opens, right? So 95,340 to 95,660. That's where you have a CME gap. Unless I'm crazy. Hold on. 16 and then 18 candle. Yes, I'm correct. Good. I'm always correct, okay? That's why you subscribe to the channel. So, Hyperliquid heading lower. Yeah, like I said, 2275, expect that. Entry there? Probably not. I'm waiting for this to drop lower then. It's over for Hyperliquid. No uptrend, bye. It was over when we saw this wick over here, by the way. It's like, yeah, it's just going to fill up whatever wick of this candle happened. So expect Hyperliquid's price to head lower. Chainlink, $12.80. Also confirmed downtrend. Healthy one, though. And kind of trying to sustain this, but same deal with what I'm explaining with Hyperliquid. This wick, it's going to continue going lower because of that. We already broke some barriers with that kind of a move. So this is a sucker's recovery, in my opinion. I'm also just expecting that kind of volatility from the Supreme Court tariff ruling to just bring us lower, regardless of what the ruling is. And I'm hoping that they don't delay it. Just give us the bad news, if it is bad news, all at once. Hit it with us in the face so we could suffer the loss, get it over with, and then move on, right? We don't like to have this stuff in the background for too long, right? Gets a bit uncomfortable. It's happened already with Supreme Court tariff. It's happened already with this Iran attack. Are we going to attack them or not? It's going to be imminent. It's the Pentagon, the pizza thing. We don't know what's going to happen, right? There's that. There was also, we had this similar situation with the shutdown. Is the shutdown going to happen? Okay, it is happening. Shutdown good? Great. We rise to all-time highs. Oh no, shutdown bad actually because we don't have economic data. Are we getting a rate cut? That kind of stuff. Rate cuts was another whole issue. Gosh. So yeah, ignore all that stuff and let's hope that this doesn't get prolonged, right? Anyways, lower movement for Chainlink can take us to $12.06. Enjoy. BitTensor, $249.36. Same deal here. We're dropping to $234 quite easily. Downtrend confirmed us here as well. Delete that. And 300 resistance was something. It was something. Maybe something to look forward to in the future. Aptos heading lower here. $1.60. I wanted it at 167, but here we are. Do I want it now? Probably not. We're expected to go lower. That's looking at 153 and then 134 as a new low. God forbid. Let's not do that, okay? And Supertrend's still peaking its way lower, so I can't really confirm where resistances would be. It's going to be about 180, perhaps. I just really ignored every resistance for every other coin because I'm just expecting them to head lower. We are pretty oversold on Aptos, but that's not going to prevent it from continuing lower. Like 153, I can guarantee that price for you. And no, I'm not going to short it at these prices. Any recovery of a rise we get that approaches wherever the downtrend supertrend line is, that's where I'd be likely to enter a short position from that point. Yeah, we haven't had that movement upward yet. And that's only if we do get a brief recovery. But at this point, I'm not going to be making any moves other than maybe DCAing into Bitcoin at any good prices, if prices do just continue going lower. I don't expect a recovery. I expect things to continue lower for this week, at least. PCE data, when is that happening? Why do we have other irrelevant countries in here? Can I delete that and get the most relevant country in the world, the United States? It's happening Thursday. We're getting GDP numbers and PCE data. Very important. Even though it will not change the percentage of us seeing a rate cut in January, that's likely not going to happen. We're not getting a rate cut in January. The odds of that are Flashbang warning. No, that's not it. This is it. Last I checked, 95%, something like that. It's probably still around the same. We did not get any economic data change. Exactly right on the dot, 95%. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Thank you. Let's move on. Let's get into the news. This is the kind of stuff that has been happening. The tariff playbook from Trump. This is, we've seen this stuff before. So here's what's up. We announce aggressive tariffs. Great. We do it on a weekend. Yeah, that's true. Happened October 10. Oh, October 10 was a Friday, but it was after markets closed. It's basically the weekend. Then we start calling for more aggressive tariffs if the demands are not fulfilled. It's happened multiple times. We start negotiating behind the scenes. We let the markets suffer some free fall. Then we start informing the insiders first so that they can prepare to buy the dip, which I think we're sort of getting to that stage soon. We're currently seeing the markets suffer from free fall type deal. And then we announce the trade deal and then post, thank you for your attention to this matter. Then markets rip to new highs, and then we give credit to the Mr. Tariff himself. For anyone wondering, we're somewhere around the 4th and 5th stage. 1, 2, 3, 4. We start negotiating behind the scenes and letting markets suffer some free fall. I agree. We are basically around that point. So that's where we're at. What are we talking about here? What tariffs? Here's the tariffs. We already set the tariffs on a lot of European countries, and their response was a preparation of up to $100 billion in tariffs and market restrictions on U.S. companies. That's real money. That's real retaliation aimed directly at American firms and capital. We've seen this pattern before. Trade escalation hits risk first. Bitcoin can wobble early, but prolonged tariff fights pressure Forex, growth, and confidence. And capital starts looking for assets that aren't tied to any one country or trade bloc. So it's bad short-term, potentially good long-term, I guess. Markets are calm right now, but $100 billion changes behavior, and Bitcoin always reacts when behavior changes. So does gold. Gold is still ripping all-time highs, isn't it? Let me have a look. I didn't look at gold today. Yeah, we're about a very high point. We're stuck at the top. What do we do? That's an all-time high, if you ask me. 10% tariffs, by the way, will be on Denmark, Norway, Sweden, France, Germany, UK, Netherlands, and Finland. It's starting February 1st. That's what it is. Then they will jump from 10% to 25% on the 1st of June if there is no deal reached. This isn't trade policy as usual. It's tariffs being used as direct geopolitical leverage. And it's all to benefit the United States, which is kind of what we want to see, right? Markets may shrug at first, but this kind of on-off tariff pressure creates uncertainty fast. Geopolitics is back in the driver's seat, sure. Which is true, yeah. Apparently, Europe is trying to set something up, at least. European leaders are backing off talk of trade retaliation and leaning toward negotiations after Trump threatened tariffs tied to Greenland. This is because the countries are planning to defend Greenland and don't want to accept if the United States takes over it. Even after Trump floated tariffs on Denmark and other countries like Germany and France, the European Union is trying to keep things calm and avoid blowing up NATO relations, because they do need the United States at the end of the day. They do have a $107 billion retaliation list if, that's already if the talks fall apart, but for now they're choosing diplomacy over escalation. And good, that is the way you should be doing it, in my opinion. By February 1st is when those tariffs will start taking effect, 10%. Trump just told Norway's Prime Minister, Jonas Gahr Støre, he is not obliged to think purely of peace anymore. Uh-oh. The president of No New Wars is going to start going back on that and starting new wars. I mean, we kind of already did that last year anyway, so who cares? I mean, we did stop a lot of wars too. Kind of. The most important one, in my opinion, Russia-Ukraine, that's still not stopped. That's still raging on. And I'll talk about Russia-Ukraine in a second here, but Trump blames Norway for not giving him the Nobel Peace Prize, and he says he can now focus on what is best for the United States instead. So it's kind of his way on, like, poking at these Norwegians over here, saying, Oh yeah, so you didn't give me the Nobel Peace Prize? Okay, no more Mr. Peaceful Guy then. We're gonna start invading every country ever. Not every country ever, but you know, Greenland is a good start. We already did it kind of to Venezuela. The message was reportedly forwarded by NSC staff to multiple European ambassadors addressed to their heads of state. Trump said, "Dear Jonas, considering your country decided not to give me the Nobel Peace Prize for having stopped 8 wars plus, I no longer feel an obligation to think purely of peace, although it will always be predominant, but can now think about what is good and proper for the United States of America." It's funny, they give it to Maria Corina Machado, and then she just gives it to Trump. So big L either way for Norway. Trump says that Denmark cannot protect that land, the Greenland, from Russia or China. And why do they have a right of ownership anyway? There are no written documents. It's only that a boat landed there hundreds of years ago. But we had boats landing there also. I have done more for NATO than any other person since its founding. And now, NATO should do something for the United States. He feels like we owe it to them. The world is not secure unless we have complete and total control of Greenland. Okay, I think that's an exaggeration, but sure. It's strategic, yes, but global, complete control. World is not secure. Okay, that's a bit of a stretch, but I understand the emphasis. Trump has also written a letter to the Prime Minister of Denmark, dated today, stating the following. Considering your country decided not to give me the Nobel Peace Prize for having stopped 8 wars plus, I no longer feel an obligation to think purely of peace. Okay, that's literally what I just read, isn't it? Yeah, that's literally what I just read. Okay, so he sent this letter to the Prime Minister of Denmark as well. And here's the letter. Norway's Prime Minister has acknowledged Trump letter is real. The letter reportedly ties Norway's Nobel Peace Prize decision to Greenland, questions Denmark's right of ownership, and declares the world is insecure unless the U.S. has complete and total control of Greenland. Nick Schifrin reported the text was obtained from multiple officials and circulated by NSC staff to European ambassadors. It reads like a meme, it's not. Okay, pal. So the letter is real. They're a bit concerned. Denmark is actually sending troops to Greenland after President Trump imposes new tariffs and demands complete and total control of Greenland. I didn't even know Denmark had troops. Well, there you go. They're sending troops over there for quite literally no reason. They're just gonna... You're not gonna win against the United States, is my point. You and your 15 German soldiers and 1 English soldier, 1 French soldier, and 1 Netherlandish, Hollandish soldier, or whatever. What do you call those people? Whatever. What do you call people from Netherlands? Nordic? Dutch? Dutch. Okay, I guess you're right. Dutch. Yeah, okay. So, all this talk about, oh, you can't protect Greenland against Russia or China. Well, China is finally being like, okay, what are you talking about here? Relax. China fires back at Trump over Greenland. Stop using us as an excuse. Trump keeps saying Greenland needs to be American so it doesn't fall under Chinese or Russian control. China's foreign ministry was pretty clear on the matter. We urge the United States to stop using the so-called China threat as a pretext to pursue selfish interests. They're kind of butthurt because of what happened in Venezuela. We took their main oil guy. But don't worry. Canada comes to the rescue when it comes to Chinese oil. I don't want to talk about this or this yet. I want to talk about not this either. Where's the post? Never mind. You know what? We're talking about this. So Canada drops tariffs on China EVs, which we talked about before. Apparently Tesla's taking advantage of the move. Canada just cut the 100% tariff on Chinese EVs. Tesla's already way ahead of everyone else. It's got 39 stores, a Canada-ready Model Y built in Shanghai, and no learning curve like BYD or NIO, the other competitors. With 49,000 cars now allowed in yearly, Tesla can fill that quota before others even show up. So Elon's bet on China is paying off again. Pretty interesting. Tesla's already there. Tesla was already inside, shoes off, Wi-Fi connected. Okay, relax. This is the same duplicate post, I think. Other Chinese brands are still figuring out leases, hiring staff, and finding coffee machines, I guess, to put their dealerships up in Canada. Tesla's like, okay, well, we're already here. Elon Musk once again didn't just think ahead, he pre-ordered the future. Canada opened the door, Tesla walked in first and already had parked in the driveway. Great, good. We don't want the Chinese cars over here. Neither does Doug Ford, honestly. He actually claims that the Chinese electric vehicles will spy on Canadians and listen to their phone calls. He's making stuff up at this point, in my opinion. He doesn't want the Chinese competition in the province. There was a question asked to him, what evidence do you have that China will spy on Ontarians or listen to their phone calls? Doug says, when the Prime Minister and his team are over there, they use burner phones. You're making a deal with burner phones? We know when you hook up your phone, they're going to be listening. Simple as that. Anyone who doesn't believe that is very naive. There was all this talk as well about, remember, with TikTok being the Chinese spy app, and that literally congressmen were not allowed to use TikTok for a long time because at that time it was owned by Chinese parent company, right? So there was that. Anyways, where's that post? I really wanted to talk about that one post. Okay, whatever. I guess I don't have it. The post was basically talking about when it came to oil, China will now be looking to replace Venezuela oil with Canadian oil. We're screwed. It's fine, though. So, moving on to Minnesota. Trump says that there is $19 billion in Minnesota Somalia fraud. Fake Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, a constant complainer who hates the USA, knows everything there is to know. She should be in jail or even, a worse punishment, sent back to Somalia. Basically alluding that Somalia is worse than jail. That's pretty funny. Considered one of the absolutely worst countries in the world. She could help to make Somalia great again if she wants to. I agree. Send her back. Didn't she marry her brother or something? Marry her brother? Relax. Nick Sorter, who was one of the main people in exposing the Minnesota fraud from the Somalians, the fake daycares, the leering centers instead of learning centers, you know. Well, he's getting attacked by the Somalians. Group of Somali thugs just robbed Nick Sorter of his $1,000 camera in the Cedar Riverside neighborhood of Minneapolis. FBI, of course, is already on the case because they want to protect the guy. He's doing a good job of revealing all this fraud. The Somalis who robbed Nick Sorter of his $1,000 camera and drug him down the sidewalk. Okay, I thought he meant drug. Okay, they dragged him down the sidewalk in Minneapolis. They're getting the full federal treatment. They've got him on video, and I'm assuming he gets dragged. Where's the dragging? I want to see the action. Show us the good stuff. Here he is. Yeah, okay. That's, oh, there's the dragging. You're driving on a sidewalk, too. Okay, that's just not cool. Interesting. So, yeah, FBI will take care of it, right? They're pretty good at what they do. Not really. In Minnesota, Trump says there is too much media attention on ICE as well, another issue, who have removed some of the worst murderers and criminals in the world. People let in to our country by crooked Joe Biden's horrendous open border policy, and not enough attention paid to the staggering sums of money stolen from the state by corrupt Minnesota politicians. So he's like, guys, stop focusing on ICE. Focus on the Somalian fraud. That's the real issue. And the Pentagon has ordered 1,500 active duty soldiers from Alaska's 11th Airborne Division on standby for possible deployment to Minnesota after Trump threatened to invoke the Insurrection Act. That is another thing that's been talked about extensively. Are they parachuting? That's pretty cool. Minnesota has already... 3,000 immigration and border patrol officers there, and Minnesota's governor has mobilized the state's National Guard. Pathetic, but sure. Now these guys are about to get involved. More soldiers. And a little update on Iran. Looks like Israel is still preparing for what would be a retaliation from Iran. They told the United States that Israel can absorb even a worst-case Iranian barrage, so 700 ballistic missiles, if it led to regime collapse in Tehran. They're basically saying we're willing to take 700 missiles to the face if it means that we get regime change in Iran. Okay. Well, good luck with it. I don't know. May the best win. Moving on to crypto news. There's really not a lot of crypto news, but we'll still... this is pretty funny. Michael Saylor says, Bitcoin never takes holidays. I think it does, dude. This might as well be a holiday. We call this volatility like we're not even moving. I bought at this price yesterday and we're still at this price today. So the fact that Bitcoin never takes holidays, while in paper that's true, on paper that's true, there's still like no volatility on holidays, which makes it very inconvenient for, like, I don't know, trading if you're looking for that kind of volatility. Anyways, Peter Schiff replied saying, no, you can lose money in Bitcoin 365 days per year, which is kind of true, but you can also make money, and you're likely to make more money than lose it on Bitcoin because that's just historically how returns work. But anyways, whatever floats your boat, Peter Schiff. New York Stock Exchange. Speaking of 24/7 trading, here you go. They have announced a new tokenization platform. Here's what they're building. A completely new trading venue with 24/7 operations, no market hours, instant settlement, not T+1, stablecoin-based funding, so not bank wires, and tokens natively issued as digital currencies, not retrofitting the existing exchange, not adding blockchain to the back office, an entirely new venue. Think about what this means. New York Stock Exchange will run 2 exchanges. The old one, the classic 9:30 to 4 o'clock, and 1 second settlement with bank wires. The new one will be 24/7 instant settlement and stablecoin rails. They're not choosing between traditional and digital. They're operating both in parallel. How does this compare to others? Everyone else is building infrastructure to tokenize existing assets. We have DTCC tokenizes existing custodied securities. State Street tokenizes MMFs and ETFs. NASDAQ amends rules for tokenized trading alongside traditional. The New York Stock Exchange is building a new way to bring equities on-chain and the venue to trade them. This puts them in competition with Figures Open and Superstate. Native digital issuance, native digital trading. Tokenized stocks enable a world where settlement happens on-chain, custody lives in wallets, not DTCC, trading never stops, capital formation happens in stablecoins. The question for every institution is, are you digitizing your existing business or building the business that replaces it? They're doing both. So cool, good start, I guess. When does it go live? I want a 24/7 trade meta stock or something. And then we have this as well, Ryanair with Elon Musk. He's memeing on it a bit. There's a plane company called Ryanair talking about Wi-Fi on planes, propaganda you're not falling for. I did see one guy actually use Wi-Fi on a plane, but through Starlink instead of, the plane's actual Wi-Fi. And he was playing like low latency competitive games, right, on his laptop. So that was pretty interesting. Elon Musk wants to buy out Ryanair and put a guy named Ryan in charge of Ryanair. Who is the CEO? Michael O'Leary. That's not Ryan. We need to get a Ryan in there. And he's literally putting polls out on Twitter saying, should we buy Ryanair and restore Ryan as their rightful owner? Yeah, do it. 11% chance Elon buys Ryanair. Interesting. Okay, I don't know what to think about it, but whatever. If it's funny, it's funny. That'll be cool. I mean, this is how Twitter got bought as well. It all started off with a joke. Elon saying, I love Twitter. Somebody said, well, why don't you buy it? Elon's like, well, how much does it cost? And he was willing to drop $40 billion to buy this darn thing. I mean, it's a good app. I like Twitter. Or X now, whatever. Yeah, that's all there really is to it. That's all the news I had to cover. There's really not much going on. MLK Day, rest in peace Martin Luther King. That is about it. What has been moving, if anything? Don't ask me to log in. Get out, please. Is it now actually asking me to log in? Oh boy. I don't want to log in. Alright, fine. There we go. Aster's oversold, Pepe, Sui, Athena, Monad, Bonk. That's about it. Overbought is just gold, tokenized gold. That's so pathetic. I don't know what FHE is. Everything else is way below average too. Zcash about to be oversold again. Was I vindicated in believing that this thing would drop? Yeah, kind of. Fake uptrend. Zcash will go much lower too. It's not recovering. All dev teams, yeah, the whole dev team resigned. It's over for that. Oh, I thought that said pump. That's Trump. Trump meme coin is apparently really down. Well, look at these wicks. Okay. Dropping to 456. Current price is $5. Aster. What are we doing with Aster anymore? What happened to the new one? Lighter. Whatever happened to that? Do we still have it? Has it survived? Did it kill Hyperliquid? Nope. This is just perpetually on its way down. Beautiful. Absolute cinema. Can I short this? Why is it forcing me to do 20x? You're crazy. I can change it later. It's fine. But no, I'm not going to short at these times. Rather stay out of it for now. I think I could short one thing, right? And if anything that I would like to short, it would be... what would be the best short opportunity? What if I asked AI that? I don't have Grok saved. Hold on. Why is it in Spanish again? What is the best cryptocurrency to short? Bad project. Let's see what it says. Shiba Inu, let's go. Bad, overhyped project, no real utility. Predicted to drop 50%. XRP? Oh yes. Dude, take that. Young-hoon Kim? Oh my, do I have news for you, pal. You may have 2276 IQ. Young-hoon Kim. Here you are. Where is the XRP post? Where is the XRP bull post? This is Monday, by the way, what he was predicting for Monday. Monday in question. Is the Monday in the room with us? Where is here? Anyone can be a millionaire with XRP is what he said. And I cleverly commented. I think he deleted my post. My comment was way too clever. Did he actually remove my comment? Hello, replies. No. Oh, here it is. Yeah, anyone can be a millionaire with XRP if you're a billionaire is what I said. And today it's happening, Bitcoin 100K. Based off my analysis, I already predicted, no, that's not going to happen. According to my charts, no. And I only get 1 like for being right versus this 3,000 likes for being incorrect. All right. That's just favoritism at its finest. But that's fine. What else did it say? Let me go back. Shorting carries high risk, la la la. Why XRP though? Criticized for lacking organic demand. Also predicted for a 50+% decline. I have to send this to Moldy Onions. if he ever watches this. I'll tell him to watch the end of the stream, at least, if he doesn't want to watch the whole thing. He told me that he put it in his living room and that his sister said, oh, turn that off. That's so boring. Hey, relax. My content is not boring. It's just far beyond your understanding. That's all there is to it. Shiba Inu and XRP. Great. Let's have a look at them. See if AI is right. SHIB. Looks very shortable. It actually looks really shortable right here. And I want to short it. What was this rise? 31st of December. 50% rise. That's pretty impressive. So far we're down 20%. What was this wick? Total drop. 12%. That's wonderful. Tariff happens and this thing crashes. Odds. Let's go. Where do I put a stop loss though? Or should I just blind short this thing? Could be dangerous. I don't know. It's a meme coin. I don't like shorting meme coins either because if you're wrong, that means the meme coin is super rising and people will just keep buying it even though it's rising for absolutely no reason, just because it's funny, the fact that this meme coin is rising, or a meme coin is rising. And I mean, if you're shorting that, God rest your soul, but you're done. Why haven't we gotten rid of all the zeros yet? Do the 1000 SHIB at this point, please. The zeros are hurting my eyeballs. Short. Where do we short? I'll do... I'll do a normal short with the invalidation where... There, that's literally what I'm going to do. Quite perfectly. Short. I don't know how much I have to put, so I have to put in these numbers. Well, this has to be here. I'll just push it down a little bit. These numbers, man. 1, 2, 3 zeros. I already lost my 4, 5, 8, 7, 1, 7. There we go. Let's do 100. And we'll forget about the take profit. Do open short. Oh, I have a better market price. Is that what you're telling me? Okay, here we go. Open short. Wonderful. And then take profit would be the complete opposite, whatever it is. And also, I'm going to be changing this because I hate this. Trigger price. That's a stop loss, right? Confirm. Actually, no, delete this. Replacing the stop loss with the position stop loss. I prefer this one. It's easier to understand. And it also shows up better on the chart list. The take profit is going to be at... Okay, now it's just not going to give me the numbers. Thank you. 0.123457385. Give me more than that. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, 60. Oh, 60. Hello? 7360. Oh, lower than that. 50. 00. Valid crash. Valid crash out. Yeah, that should be fine. We'll see how it goes. Losing in this short would be painful. But hey, we use the profits to buy Bitcoin. That's what I'll do. Lovely. There. That's my move for today. Should I just force myself to do a trade every day? What do you guys think? I don't think that's wise, because sometimes, like, there's genuinely no opportunities in the market, but I feel like I'm also lacking. I feel like if I'm not trading, I'm doing something wrong. Maybe I'm just too patient, and sometimes the patience doesn't pay out. Sometimes I was better off just FOMOing. But then sometimes, you know, patience does pay out, and I was better off just waiting. I'm thinking of, like, that one time where October 10 happened. Remember that? That was pretty crazy. So I don't know, I'm conflicted on it. I'll figure something out eventually. So there you go. That's my thoughts on market for tonight, guys. I've run out of content. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Keep your eyes peeled for tomorrow. See what happens with that tariff decision. We'll come back Wednesday. We'll prepare you for PCE data the day after Wednesday, which will be Thursday. And that should be it.